What's up, NBA fan? What's up, all sports fans? This your boy JB, host of the Behind the Bench Podcast Network and channel, giving a shout out to the rest of the crew. Shad, Kelvin, Jermaine, KD Film Room, Big Dog, Talk Sports. That's right, that's right. For everyone who's tuning in, thank you for supporting Behind the Bench. Subscribe to the channel. Help make the show the best that it can be. And it's time, people. It's time. NBA All-Star Weekend. A lot is riding on the line based on what happened last year. There was a lot of complaints about last year's All-Star game, a lot of complaints. A lot of people turned their game off. The least viewed All-Star game, least televised All-Star game, pretty much since the merger back in 1976, the bicentennial, the nation's 200th birthday. You see what I'm saying? So, I believe this weekend has a lot on, riding on the line, man, and it shouldn't have to change its format. Once again, it's something it doesn't have a professional basketball appeal to it. It's more like playground. It feel like almost like a game of horse, man, and they missing the most important element, the most important facet as to what makes the All-Star game great. Historically, it's the greatest exhibition of the best NBA players in the world on a yearly basis. That was the whole concept that started in the 60s. And I believe basically the game as well as the All-Star weekend has lost its way because a lot of the prominent voices of today who provide commentary on the NBA, they don't respect, I'll put it this way, they don't uphold the history of the game. They don't uphold it, man. And like I said, it's not about eras, man. It's not about, prior to the recent, let's say, 7 to 8 years, you didn't hear cats on TV talking about referring to past players as plumbers and firemen, man. That's unprofessional, man. That's unprofessional, and it's not worthy of having that type of platform, man. And like I said, you don't have to know everything about the history of the game. I don't know everything about the history of the game. I don't know every player that's ever played in this league or nothing like that. But I was always fascinated about learning of the history of the game. That's what made me become a fan of the NBA, and it just carried on from there. But basically, what I think is happening is you have so many prominent voices, man, from both sides, previous generation of players or people covering the league who used to cover the league versus the prominent figures of today. It's like this clash. So many people, they got their hands in the pot, man. They want to come up with this idea to, placate their desire to see the game played a certain way, But what's lost in all of this, man, is the game itself. That's what's lost. Not they trying to change up the format, trying to make it more appealing to the casual observer per se, trying to placate the players. But what's being lost in all of this is the game. Not just the All-Star game, but the game itself. That's why the commissioners, Adam Silver, I believe that's one of the motivating factors in trying to come up with concepts and ideas to stoke interest, to get more people to regain a lost audience that's out there, or to stoke interest for the beginning of the regular season. Why would you need to do that when the season just started? So what's being lost is the game. And to me, the most important element of sport has been that brought the NBA forward, that made it a global enterprise in sport. The number one factor, man, that contributed to that growth, man, is what makes sports great, is what make people tune in and watch. It's impacted the slam dunk contest, and it's actually the lack of this element has taken away from the it's taken some of the luster away from the 3-point shooting contest, which is why they've tried to, reach out to WNBA players to participate. Why would you need to do that if everything was the way it's supposed to be? The number one element that has been taken away is, or undermined, or devalued, as I like to say. The number one thing that's been devalued in this whole deal, man, is competition. You uphold competition once again, you won't have to worry about trying to change the formats. And you go back and revert back and return back to the real format that highlights the 24 best players in the world. The Eastern Conference All-Stars versus the Western Conference All-Stars. Also, you bring back position basketball instead of positionless basketball. Positionless basketball devalues the game. And what happens is, I believe positionless basketball has led to the overabundance of three-point shooting. It all ties in together. Now, also the super team era has devalued competition, and that's carried and trickled down, trickled over to the All-Star event itself. Because when you see, franchise players, 3 franchise players join forces, it's almost really like a pseudo All-Star team that you're watching out there throughout the course of the regular season. Everything becomes devalued. A super team era, what that entails is you're devaluing the regular season because you're trying to take the lesser road travel to win the championship. Whereas your all-time championship teams, even if they were dominant, Showtime Lakers, the Celtic Pride, Boston Celtics of the 80s, Bert McHale Parrish, the Chicago Bulls, the New York Knicks of the 70s, the original Boston Celtic dynasty of the 60s. We can go on and on and on. They had to prove their dominance throughout the course of the season, man. And because competition was held to such a high degree, seeding was of the highest importance. That's why Boston won a lot of those championships in the end, because they had home court, where Game 7 or the deciding game was played in their home arena, the Boston Garden. Otherwise, they probably don't win 11 championships led by Bill Russell. So what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, the All-Star game to me is a reflection of the current state of the game on a year-by-year basis. And compared to previous All-Star games, when you look at a figure, when you look at a player like Kobe Bean Bryant, man, and what he exemplified out there on that court, and how he held competition to the highest order degree. That's why they named the All-Star Game MVP after Kobe Bryant. There's a reason why they did that. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm getting at is, man, it's a simple solution. Return back to the roots of the game, man. Get back to basics. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Stop trying to recreate a new reality. You know what I'm saying? Nothing is wrong with tradition, man. Nothing is wrong with tradition. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If something is proven to be successful, and this is a situation where the All-Star game started in the 60s and it carried over to the 70s, throughout the 80s, throughout the 90s, throughout the 2000s with the original format. So it had to be successful. It was something that it had to be something that registered and connected with the basketball following out there, man. But see, to go back to the roots is to uphold the past, uphold the history of the game. And a lot of these prominent voices I hear right now, man, they don't uphold it. They definitely don't respect it, because they want to make it seem like this current era is the end all be all. That's not how, even during the golden era of the 80s, man, they weren't disrespecting the 70s and the 60s. The 90s era was not disrespecting the 80s, the 70s, or the 60s, or the 50s. You see what I'm saying? Because they understood that they stood on the shoulders and contributions of those who came before them. Not just the players, man, but the coaches. That was entertaining aspect of the NBA, you became familiar with the legendary coaches of the league, man. You know what I'm saying? And in a lot of ways, that's being taken away. But I believe once player empowerment, which devalue in a lot of ways, it devalue competition, along with the super team era, which they both coincide. Once the league moves beyond that, the game will begin to correct itself to where it's supposed to be at the current present time. And they need to study how the NBA operated during the '80s, because that went down in history as the golden era, the golden age of professional basketball. Study that, incorporate ideas from that period, and then apply it to the present landscape, and I guarantee you'll generate another golden era. I guarantee it. And then you reestablish the center position. You know, there's been so many complaints about the over reliance on the 3-point shot. The league is slowly reestablishing the center position. I don't think you'll see as many 3-point shots being taken, because actually the 3-point shot percentage this year has actually declined versus years past, because I think the how can I say this? The momentum from shooting that shot, to such a degree that we've been witnessing, is losing its advantage. I think teams are slowly adjusting to that. You know what I'm saying? To where now you're gonna have to eventually, run standard offense, and you can still employ the 3-point shot, but it'd be more of a momentum shot or a dagger shot rather than just coming down and jacking up threes. I guarantee you, once we move past this era, super team and player empowerment, and let's call it team environment where everybody benefit: the organization, the players, the fans, the media who cover the NBA. They would have to really cover the league at that point, and stop projecting all these narratives that's bringing the league dynamic down. You know what I'm saying? It'll benefit everybody, man. It'll benefit the future moving forward. You know what I'm saying? It will uphold the past. It'll be a win-win, man. But the All-Star game has always been a reflection of the current state of the league, man. And I'm telling you, they get back to basics, and I believe exercise those actions that I mentioned, the NBA be where it's supposed to be, man. And it'll all these complaints, man, about what's going on, man, it'll begin, run its course. And the past voices that are critical of the young generation of stars, they need to pull back a little bit, man, and let these players figure it out. Let the game correct itself. Let the game correct itself, and it'll be where it's supposed to be. And an All-Star game will return on point again, as well as the slam dunk contest. You'll see superstars participating in the event again. And just a whole All-Star weekend, man. It'd be more anticipation, rather than this. It's more of a cynical view of the All-Star game now. Get back to basics, man, and uphold the history, man. And that's what they need to do. That's my take on it. Leave your comments and thoughts. Until next time, this is JB for BTB. BTB, Behind the Bench.